Welcome to John and Dylan Online. I'm Dylan God, and John, what are we talking about this week?
I'd like to talk about the thing you just edited out. We're talking about Tinder, baby. Dylan, I have a question for you. When you matched with my ex-girlfriend and then she got very angry you didn't want to hang out, was that on Tinder? No, I think that was
on
different...
OkCupid. I'm an ugly man, and OkCupid's where I live.
Man, OkCupid, I got sucked up by a couple of people I met on OkCupid. I got to tell you, OkCupid in London was really where as a guy I knew in college said, that's where the goers hang out.
Oh God, that's fucking disgusting.
We're talking about 2015, so we're talking about 9 years ago. Plenty of Fish, I think, didn't even have an app at that time. It was still online. I can only imagine in 2015 the people that were like, I want to meet my people on the desktop.
No, this is what I learned in the research for this episode, is that was like Plenty of Fish's most popular time was in the mid-2010s. Was apparently... So this also was like we were doing dating on in England. So maybe it was regional. They were saying Plenty of Fish was like really huge in like small towns, small cities, that type of thing.
What's crazy about dating apps that no one really talks about is they are extremely regional. Like
yeah.
In terms of like what people use in every city as like they each get given a demarcation in that, like now when you go to international festivals, comedians will tell the comedians from out of town, this is the one for like, this is the one that's like relationships. This is the one that for people that are looking to screw. And it's always different in every city.
Well, that was the whole thing about Tinder, I think, had a thing where you could pay to have a second location. So it's like you could set things up ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, baby. You don't oh, yeah, Tinder Gold and all that sort of stuff. Because I popped back into dating apps post-divorce. And what a different world that was. Everyone was paying for premium. I briefly paid for premium coming out of that divorce. Let
me ask you about this, because mine was basically 2 years. So we're talking about Tinder. Here's the short story of Tinder. It was made during a hackathon. These guys came up with an app. There were two of them. Then they hired a lady to basically market the whole thing because they wanted to name the app Smell and Fuck.
Yeah, they wanted to name the app Wet Place I Put My Dick. And they're like,
yeah, they were alone with bigger than you. That's what they wanted to call it.
What I like about the story of Tinder is it's basically like these two scrappy young tech entrepreneurs figured out that if they turn dating into video games, they could make $1 billion. And then they did it and nothing stopped them because they're good. Like, it's just like that. The story of Tinder is the exact type of evil guy you're picturing did some of the things that he does, and now he lost the company. Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, they wanted to gamify...
Fucking. They wanted to gamify the thing that already is gamified.
But they wanted to make it so, which I think that... This is the thing, is every time you introduce a new tech thing, a bad thing follows it. So they wanted to gamify relationships because their idea was, even if you don't get any matches, you still get to reject someone. That's
so fucking funny.
Which is a skit that I've had for 700 years, but literally, Tinder gave ugly men so much undue confidence because they could get to reject women, and I would watch my friends reject women. The women are obviously rejecting them too, but they get to be like, I said no to you because you have a weird hat on, and you're like, I don't know how you did it, but you have dandruff on your forehead.
I had different friends, which I had the friends that all downloaded the apps that just meant you could swipe right on 800 people at a time.
Yes, well, that was your friend and mine, Alex Pavone, had a friend who...
It was Shakes. Shakes who did it. We could use a nickname. There it was this guy, Shakes.
No, it wasn't Shakes.
Was it not Shakes?
No, it was another guy. Fuck. I forget what his name is, but he went by one name. It was like fucking the most Italian name. It may have been like Napoleon Alphonse or something like that. But let's call a pseudonym Napoleon Alphonse. This man drove us back on the back roads because that's where you could go fastest.
Real sign, by the way, if you're from Southern Ontario, that you've had your license taken away for drunk driving. There you go. I avoid the highways. I like to take that weird road that's next to the highway, which really shows you how much drunk driving happens in Canada, that every major highway has a surface road that just follows it.
Yeah. Everyone who does that has killed at least one dog with their car.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah.
That's why I said at least. Anyway, he was doing Tinder. He made a second Facebook profile so he could swipe again on Tinder because he had finished Tinder manually, didn't know about the apps, just by swiping on his phone at all times. And then he pulled over and he saw, I guess this was like a petting zoo, and they had an emu, and he was like, what the fuck is up, you fucking pussy emu? And then his friend went, he doesn't understand that. He's an emu. He's like, okay, I'll say it in emu. Fuck you, emu. And then he fucking sped off. And I was like, where do I give this man the $10,000? That's the rest I've ever seen.
I got to tell you, if you are ever in the GTA, head on up to Woodbridge, and really, you're going to really see some shit.
Yeah,
I once stopped to buy a bottle of water at a 7-Eleven, and there was a guy in the 7-Eleven letting that guy know, I went to the Esso, their prices aren't as good as yours. I'm coming back. And I will never forget the look on that cashier's face of like, I'm just going to agree with this, but I think this is some sort of robbery. Like, I think this man is here to kill me.
Oh, yeah, two people screaming at each other, and they're like, what are you arguing about? And there's like, no, they're agreeing.
Yeah, they're about to make out.
Yeah, they're just talking about, literally, he's explaining what the weather is to that guy, and he's saying, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Johnny, you dipshit. So they finally come up to this lady. She, her name is Whitney. She comes up with the name Tinder, comes up with the logo for Tinder, doesn't want to call it Trap and Fuck. Good for her.
They wanted to call it Matchbox, which is so like, what? You know,
dude.
Yeah. Because you put a bunch of matches in your
they should have
piss
called
hole.
it Third Eye Blind, bro.
Yeah, they should have just called it, hey, dudes, this is where you think you can fuck all the babes. Hey, babes, you're about to get some penis photos.
Yeah, called Hog Pick Anonymous. Anyway.
Pick my hog.
Whitney Wolf is, of course, this is the craziest thing about this, too, is like, this woman is 24 when she helps change, for better or worse, dating and human relationships as we know it. And she settled a sexual harassment lawsuit against Tinder where, because I had heard it said, and maybe they didn't release exactly what happened or what the sexual harassment thing was, but they settled this lawsuit immediately. This definitely happened because here's the other thing about tech CEOs is they don't say things, they write them down and send them to you like fucking morons. Anyway, she was branded a heartless whore who flirts with Muslim pigs by the, I think it was the chief marketing officer and co-founder, Justin Mateen.
Yeah, as I also understood it, wasn't the CEO like, the CEO was like, I don't even use our service. And she was like, no, but he does have a bunch of prostitutes in the like there was all these weird like it was like all this sort of like it was that thing that occasionally happens with these court cases where like you hear all the stuff like very loudly shouted as they slam the door. Like she's like, and sometimes he drinks people's cup. Nothing to see here. What's even better about Whitney Wolf, and this is jumping ahead, is her great vengeance. Because what does she do with that $1 million she wins in that settlement? What does she do? We need a place where women can say what they want. She creates Bumble using Tinder's underlying technology. Tinder later sues and goes like, you stole a bunch of our intellectual property. And talking about lawsuits that get settled quickly, Bumble's like, pretty much immediately being like, well, didn't you get us? All right, here you go. And it's so funny where it's like, yep, well, it took you longer than we thought. All right, yeah, we took it.
It's so interesting because these dating sites are all like hard competing with each other. Like Hinge competes with Tinder and does all this shit against Tinder where it's like Tinder's for fucking people who just try and have sex with you and send you dick pics, and even if you do like the person, they fuck you and don't call you back. And then Bumble's the same thing where it's like, you don't tired of being harassed? Well, the woman makes the first move, and then they all get solved to Match. Match.com owns absolutely everything, which one of my main notes for this is you want to succeed in business, be the first thing there, and then just buy the new things. That's all anything is in tech. It's like Instagram, Meta, Facebook owns absolutely everything. If you come up with a new idea, you exist only to be bought up by the whale that started before you.
I completely agree with you. And also, this is the crazy thing is like people go like, which one do you think works the best? Well, for me, I can literally tell you which one works the best. Hinge works the best. I'm getting married to the person I met on Hinge. Like,
whoa.
How do you like that?
So you met them on Hinge.
That's right.
And Tinder's not well, Tinder is like 10 years old. I feel like I looked up some stuff about Vine. We'll be talking about Vine in a coming episode, either next week or I don't know how I've organized this. But Vine lasted for like 3 years, and I think there should be basically it's like an NBA rookie deal, but every app has to close. Like it's like Twitter, you had 4 years, you're fucking done now. Facebook, same thing. Like it should just be wiped. No longer allowed.
I agree with you, especially because what's interesting is like Vine, we took the thing that people were going to like from Vine in the end, which is like, it's the reel. Basically, Vine created Instagram Reels.
It would just start playing. That's what Vine was. We wouldn't want to talk about because literally Vine was around for so long, for so little time, and I don't know about you, but I definitely like just didn't use it. So we're gonna need every absolute scraping of things about Vine to talk about.
I have an absolute great Vine story. It's
a great Vine story. I'm excited to hear it. But John, talk to me more about Tindies. What was Tindies like for old Johnny Pastings?
I'm trying to think. I think I've had sex with someone from all the dating apps, which is an exciting from
Craigslist,
Craigslist, Guardian, Last Connections. But that's nice. So Tinder. Bumble.
This is what I wanted out of this episode. You trying to remember your bang list?
Yeah, but I've only all in a bus for bangbus.com.
All in a bus.
Here's the thing that I found very fascinating about all of them is that immediately all dating apps immediately took on their version of what society is, which is every dude is like and every woman is like, yeah, I'm into blah, blah, blah. But there's a couple of things we just need to do first. The first thing is you have to say hello. You have to say hello.
You have to treat me like a person. No deal.
I always will remember is logging on the first time. I just broken up with someone who later spoke to Dylan on a dating app. I was really ready to just have some unstructured free time, if you know what I mean. And the thing that I will always struck was how many profiles are just like, just say hello first. Please just say hello. Just treat me like I'm not a toilet.
Well, it's also like any woman. This is what I discovered from using ladies' Tinder for a second, where she was like, I don't give a shit. I don't even use that. Just use it for me. Is like just the amount of matches is truly insane. Like the amount of men just messaging you fucking crazy shit. Like you get like 9 highs at the same time on like a Friday night.
I will say this, though, about stupid dating apps, is that I do think the good that they did is for so many people who lack confidence for whatever reason, and also for people who aren't good at reading cues or signals, what it did was it defined, here's where you can meet people that are also dating, which we never had in society before. And I think that it was so I had such fucking confidence problems when it came to slamming puss or grabbing tits that it really, really helped in just terms of like, okay, this is fun. I know how to talk to babes. You know what I mean? And no one talks about that one nice thing of like, I guarantee a lot of dudes who like could have been taken in for fucking stupid fucking pickup artist bullshit were totally saved by the fact that they're like, oh yeah, they just were like, hey, they were just a bit thin in high school, so everyone called them Beanpole Sam and tried to beat the shit out of them. But now it's 2014. Put on some beige slacks. You are the Hugh Hefner of this decade. That's what people are looking for. You know what I mean? And I think that really, really helped.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly have no idea how to read people, and it did help to know that, like, oh, this is like confirmation going in that at least someone likes you.
Yeah.
So, just having that thing of like there is an understanding. You don't need to read and like maybe think you're being an asshole. It's like there is an understanding that this is about boinking. Maybe is like everything to someone with blottism.
Dylan went on a sexual walkabout thanks to dating apps for the ages. Literally, it was just like 2015 summer, time to fuck. He turned his baseball cap to the backwards position, nodded at me, downloaded all the dating apps, then walked into a park to fuck people in a car by my house.
Made love. Made them say we're in love.
Pardon me,
which
yes.
is why they never saw me again.
Yes, but they did have...
Now I'm in love with you. That was what I... Some people have a cum noise. I just say, I'm in love with you.
I've shared your treasure. I am in love with you.
This is for a baby. That's what I say.
What's your weirdest dating app one? Here's my weirdest dating app, and this was only in hindsight, which was the person went, I thought your friend was you, but my other friend thinks you're attractive. Give me your phone number, she'll WhatsApp you. And I, for some reason, was like, let's see how far down the rabbit hole I can go on this one. Maybe I'll get killed. And then I was like, here's my WhatsApp number. And then I met this strange person, and we went and had one beer. And here's the one thing I remember. She made such a big deal about, I will not tell you what my job is. I'm not going to tell you what my job is. You will never know what my job is. And I got to tell you, that's the worst way of stopping someone from not knowing what your job is. Because to this day, I'm like, fuck, I got to figure out what the fuck she did for a living.
I had there was one lady, probably one of the low key best experiences I had was there was this lady who was like, oh, I really like Harry Potter. And I was like, I've never seen that and I never will. And then it was just like searching for conversation. And then afterwards, after the date, she was like, I don't like you. And I was like, I don't like you. And then that was the last time we talked. Where I was like, and it was nice to have the message of like, listen, this is not going to work out, just so you know. And I'm like, I was hoping you would also not like me because of how bored I was.
I had a very similar one, which was in the middle of the date. The person went, just to let you know, this isn't going to end in sex. And I said to her, I was like, I made that decision when you walked up. And the hurt in their eyes was
Why did you say that?
Because it was the worst date I've ever been on. And I was like, why the fuck would
walked
you like...
up, that means that she's an uggo chuggo.
It was actually the tone. It was actually the timbre of her voice is what really got me. It was that ever fucking horrible, posh and nasal voice.
Okay, that sounds like a fucking Ratatouille.
My penis removed itself from my body, marched up to my shoulder, and whispered in my ear, if you show me to this person, I'm giving you AIDS. And I was like, wait, the penis is the power to give you AIDS? And it's like, I don't know, but I'm making it happen, man. I'll make it happen.
John,
I'm fucking great. I'm bringing it. Listen, if fucking all the alt-right dudes can drop a hard G and a hard F with a hard T, I can bring back AIDS as a punchline for everything. You wanted why the chicken crossed the road? AIDS.
Oh, yeah. Or you say, hey, you look like this celebrity with AIDS.
I mean, I just remember a period of time where people would just yell AIDS at cars, which I thought was...
Yeah, I remember that.
Like,
AIDS.
Hey, you got AIDS.
Sell AIDS. Yeah, it's whatever disease killed people plus 20 years. That's your new punchline. That's like 9/11. Every Gen Z person is like 9/11. It's like, yeah, man. That's my softball jersey, by the way. Bush did 9/11. My name is Bush did, and my number is 9/11.
That's funny. My curling team is called the We Did 9/11s.
I did online dating a bit when it was just the fucking resume of why people should smooch on your bone. But yeah, exactly. Tinder made everything better, even if like I didn't do well on Tinder. I said this bad joke that worked for a bit and then stopped. My favorite type of joke.
Oh, nothing better.
It truly was like being ugly on Tinder was like not everyone would be like, I remember one of my attractive friends, she was like, there's just so many guys I don't know. And I'm like, really? Here's my experience. I swipe yes to everyone. And then unless it's the summer, I get one match a week. And that's my little ration for the week. I talk to them, decide if they're good enough to go on a date with or if we get along. And if we don't, I wait to see what my ration is for the next week. It was the easiest thing in the world. We're like, well, it's Vanessa this week. Oh, Vanessa doesn't want to talk. Maybe we'll, move on.
Dylan is underselling. This was in the days of the Wrestler Review where we were literally doing it every day we had like a big period of time where we weren't going to be together. So we were doing it every day in the summer. And every time I saw Dylan, like Hugh Hefner, he'd be swizzling a coffee with a little I got to go meet. This is Clarice. Like it was just he's underselling because he's a pious family man.
That's all I was doing. That is a very bad time. That is a very bad time in my life for sure. Where it's like smoking like fucking 2 packs of cigarettes a day and just putting the effort into comedy, putting into effort into dating that I should have been putting into comedy. Where it's like, if I line it up right, I can get these 2 girls at the same time. They both think I got money. I don't. I got the same suit, but I got to put a marker to it so it's black, not gray this time.
Oh, man.
If you don't call me Ricky, you call me Dylan, I'll fucking kill you. I'm Ricky today. and then just leave
It
my
was.
house.
That
No
was
shoes.
such a wild, like from June until September of that year, just madness from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was fun.
There was
But yes.
so much like literally Dylan was my solid friend, and that is true. Dylan was just a cloud of cigarette smokes, just like I gotta figure some stuff out. Everyone in my house was melting down. Yeah, there was oh god, it was a wild time.
But that's what happens when you have when you are a person in your early 30s who's still living in a house with 6 people in it, where it's like, nah, I think you're fine. But then you step outside of that reality and see everyone else that's in their early 30s, and you're like, I really got to make a decision if I'm okay with this. Because I just went into another world, and you're like, okay.
It's one of those things where it's like I was in the midst of like getting ready to move to the States and stuff like that. It was all happening in that year. So it was one of those things where I was like, all right, I would like to maybe not live with 6 people where, I'm literally the only person that cleans up anything. It's been recently revealed, by the way, and this is the greatest statistic ever, is when I moved out, all the lights in all the common areas just burnt out for 6 months, and none of them could figure out to change it or how to change it. And then it was later revealed that they were like, well, like this never happened before. And what it was I just changed the light bulbs. It was the greatest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Is they like,
I like that you referred to it as a statistic, like they had government stats on it, like
because they literally, it was like a discussion in the house. I was talking with them. I went back to stay for that Edinburgh Festival on the sofa for a week, and they were like, they couldn't stop talking about. They're like, it's so crazy. For like 5 years when we were living here, no light bulbs would burn out. And then they just started burning out. And then I had to say to one of them, yeah, I changed all the light bulbs. And then they hilariously went, no, you didn't. I did. I changed them all. And I was like, I'm not going to argue with you, but one of us has the memory and the other one is just talking shit.
Was there any long-term people you met off Tinder?
A few-ish. I went on a real friends with benefits tear between 2015 and 2016.
Yeah, because they say, like, so Match owns everything. Like, they own Bumble, Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, Tinder, Hinge? Except for Grindr. You're do not own Grindr.
You cannot afford Grindr. I got news for you. All of those other dating apps, in terms of market penetration, word chosen on purpose, pale in comparison to the big dog. You know who the Hulk Hogan of dating apps is? You know who the Steve Austin of dating apps is? It's Grindr. It's eternal. It's going to make it happen. It says what it does on the box. It's the best. By the way, you want to meet a man? No better place.
This is the thing about Grindr. The maybe I'm into guys to I think I'm going to try and have sex with a guy. Within 20 minutes, you'll know.
Stop beating around the bush and tell the true story. We were at a bar very drunk in 2015 at the Edinburgh Festival of Chaos, and a person we were with said, I'd let a guy suck my dick. And I don't know why, but Dylan got the devil in his eyes.
I was like, bet. And he's like, I would. And I was like, bet. Join Grindr right now. And then our friend Evan took his phone while the guy went to the bathroom, came back and went, you're on Grindr now. And then the guy was like, okay, fine. Because he was like, I'm going to do it. We're like, all right. And then the guy wavered back and forth so much that the guy coming to suck him off was like, am I going to be murdered? So he bailed.
No, he didn't bail. The guy bailed at the very last minute because the guy was out. He's like, I'm walking down the street. I'll be right there. And he was like, no, I'm calling it. No. And he was like, what? And he was kind of pissed off because then the guy was like, I'm going to leave. And I'm like, you can't leave now. He's on the street. He was like, he's not going to know what I look like. And I'm like, yes, he is. There's a photo of you. And he was like, oh, yeah.
So yeah.
If you remember what the compromise was that guy was like, I know what I'll do, is he sent a dick pic to that guy as a consolation prize, which is why I then left and you and Evan then sent me your dick pics as a hilarious end of the evening joke. It was wild.
Yeah, it was good. Booze rules.
Oh my God, what a fun night. I remember I went to go meet someone I met on Tinder, and I remember explaining that story to them as I got text messages of yours and Evan's dick.
Oh yeah, that's why we did it, because you were on the date.
I wouldn't say it was
That's
a
why
date.
we were like, "Oh, John's on a date. What if we just send him a picture where he's like,
so funny.
he just sees like a picture of the dick. You're like, what the fuck? Is like my friends are sending me pictures.
It,
of
would,
their
it
dick.
was not what the fuck. It was scream laughter in my bed. That was so funny. Oh, very
Tinder's
good.
great. I mean, Tinder was good, but that's the thing about Tinder that everyone complained about was like they basically just took Grinder and then we're like, here's what we invented, a thing that already exists.
Yeah. Hey, we took Grinder, but we've told some people that there are women on it.
Yeah. Here's what I invented is there's these little pieces of paper called money. Anyway, I call it pounds. And so I invented that.
I will tell you, dating apps in the time of COVID lockdowns were fucking wild.
Yeah?
Well, the rules were so much more strict. Like I remember one that was like, if it had been a Word document, it was 4 pages long of like instructions, how long, and I was just like, this is.
What do you mean? Explain.
If you message me, we will only be talking on
The
Zoom.
rules, yes. Rules. I forgot about like every man must be over 6 foot. Like, yeah.
I mean, there were because it's also the thing of you're looking of English people. So English people will still be like, oh, I can't necessarily say that. People, what if someone sees me saying that? I'll never live it down. I'm talking about Americans that have been locked inside for at that time almost a year. They are like literally like, let me tell you specific. It was so intense.
What was the best one? Do you remember anyone specifically?
This COVID thing is bullshit. Let's meet in a park and screw was one of the bios. And
Hell yeah.
I just always enjoyed the use of the word screw. Also, if I recall, the third of those, I know one of the images that person had was them just holding a gun. And I know that another one of the images was just a bird, which I was just like,
well, it's so funny. I remember it was like, you could tell someone had just started, hey, just broke up with long-term relationship, really looking forward to diving into this thing, and they would give a bunch of information, and then the longer they were using the app, the less information they would give, where it'd just be like, please stop this, would be the final bio.
Do not do that.
No, I don't.
What was even crazier is that there was also, by that point, there was the hookup app for straights and the polys called Field, I think it's called.
Field.
I popped into that one. That one was the weirdest one because you're like, how do I, like, what? Like, people would yell at you for not knowing their kink rules and stuff like that. And I was like, I got to get out of here. You guys have all made sex too much like Dungeons and Dragons. That's what people don't talk about when it comes to polyamorous people is they've really made sex into Star Trek. You don't know the rules? He's a Ferengi. What? Get out of here.
But I mean, yeah, polyamorous people, I went on a couple dates with a polyamorous person and it was just like, okay, I was raised by my grandparents too much for this. I just wanted to be at the end, and then when she described her lifestyle, she's a nice person, but every part of my body wanted to be like, get a goddamn job. I tell you why you're doing this. You got too much time on your goddamn hands. Here's a book on gardening.
It's so funny you say that. Here's the thing I have noticed about polyamorous people is they are quietly very moneyed always. Like, I knew one British person, and they were very, like, here is the telltale sign someone comes from money. If they say the following sentence, well, my dad lives in Singapore, just, you know that in your head you should hear this noise. Cha-ching!
Yeah, sing a rich. Let's get that money, girl.
Sing a bling, baby. And then the other person was in America, and this is the biggest sign that they are rich in America, especially Southern California. They have some sort of fire implement on their property, fire pit, some sort of weird heat thing that, like, in California is such a sign of like, I have water and fire, 2 of the 4.
I want to. I enjoyed using our friend's Tinder, and then it would be a picture of a man in a full suit, not smiling, and then the message you would get be like, "Spread down on on all fours, you dirty whore," and it was just a picture of a guy like this. That's what I enjoyed.
I recently got to use someone's a very pretty lady in California's Tinder, and like I was like, "Can I respond?" And she was like, "Yeah, go nuts." And I was like, "How crazy can I be?" And she was like, she's like, you gotta keep it clean, but go nuts. And I just kept asking them their favorite color of Star Trek tunic, and none of them were prepared.
Well, our friend Laura, or very funny comedian Laura, was like this match with this guy, and he had a picture of his dog. And then she was like, I really like the way you're put together, and then whatever. And then slowly revealed she was talking about the dog.
I really respect that woman.
Like,
I really respect that person.
When
so
can I
bad.
meet up with the dog? And the guy was like giving the names of dates. He was like, yeah, I should probably fuck me after she fucks my dog. that's the punchline of the joke, but it's truly did that. Good for her.
Is it the Laura I think it is? Is it the Laura? There's only one person named Laura I know that would go for a real good dog fucking
Lebo.
joke.
I don't think you know her.
No, I don't know her. Never mind.
Well, fuck you then, you
Never mention anyone I don't know again. I thought it was a
pig
different
fucker.
Laura. You're a
But
pig
yes,
fucker.
I never
Met them on
got to be.
Tinder,
Here's the
pig
thing:
boy.
is like there's always these zany, like female comedians always have these jokes that are like the zany, like, and here's what I made a guy do, and I could never do that. I was always in the please let's meet up phase.
I mean, you've made some women think. You know what I mean?
Never.
Why did I do this? I
My
need to reconsider
Tinder
my choices.
profile, Tinder was the only thing I did this with. Was an old headshot I had where I was shirtless in suspenders with a do rag that said "wired."
Oh yeah, man. You had your dukes up. Oh, it was real.
Yeah,
good
and I had
stuff.
my dukes up, showing both nips, and
Best headshots you ever took.
that was it. I actually hooked up with a girl off of that picture because you just know what you're getting.
Yeah. Oh, so let me say this. People like different shapes and sizes, and you are both of those things.
I think the profile said "rub a dub dub." Let me put my thumb in your tub.
Yeah, man.
And then that was it. And then she was like, "All right, this is a joke." And I'm like, "No, it is not. No, this is my intention is to thumb you."
I remember someone told me, he's like, I don't tell people I'm going on Tinder dates. I'm a comedian. And then I said, well, what happens if you have a second date? And then that's what I learned that guy was just using it to fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was one guy I know who like his profile was like looking to see where the night goes, but it was like only pictures of his abs and no pictures of his face. It's like it should have been like, I'm cheating on my wife. Would you like to hurt a woman's feelings if this works out?
I know two guys who got abs, one of which got abs because they participated in a comedian's boxing match. So you can narrow down who this might have been. And they paid someone to do a photo shoot for their Tinder profiles.
That's fucking good though. That makes sense.
All of
Fake
them
a
were
wedding.
like, hang on, but all of them are like fun things. They were like fun jokes, but they were shirtless with abs in all of them. Like it was a very funny, like, tee hee hee. You know what I do. It's like, oh.
But that's what the whole thing is, like, make it fun, but also I have abs and you need to please let me alone and have sex, please.
Yeah. Drink my power.
Drink my power.
Yeah.
Ew.
Who's here to drink my power?
Do you think Tinder's made the world better or worse or just changed it?
I'm going to say better.
It's certainly better from my perspective. Like, I don't know how I would have met that amount of women. Like, I couldn't meet them live. No, there was. I will say this. My entire set at that time was basically geared towards, okay, the entire set is about me being single, and if so, I can get a message. But like other things, no, there's no way. And Tinder, obviously, the thing that happens with Tinder is what happens with every app is that, like, since Match just, like, copied Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all other things everything became Tinder overnight. OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, they all became Tinder overnight. And Tinder was also the first one to really successfully kind of do, like, the freemium thing. Like, Match.com, which is the original site, was just like, okay, it costs $20 a month to basically ward out as many creeps as possible.
Yeah.
But Tinder was the one where it's like, okay, you boost your profile, more people will see it. Other stuff came in, like they had the super like thing, which, I mean, I was using Tinder towards the start of that, and it was always like a creepy, like, I like you. But yeah, definitely, I never paid for Tinder Premium or something, which was honestly good for me because I would have just swiped all day with how addicted I was to it.
The thing was super like it really changed on your gender. If you were a woman, you accidentally hit that button. If you were a man, you were letting them know.
No, for me it was like I'm out of likes, super like. Why not?
Go for it, baby.
Yeah, never worked out. No, it worked out once, I think, but never. Because it was always like, this guy super liked you, and then it's a picture of a shirtless guy going like, wanna fucking let me put my thumb in your ass?
Yeah, rub-a-dub-dub.
Let me put
What
my
I
thumb
also
in your
enjoyed
tub.
was some people really lying about dating apps. There were some real liars who talked about some of the stuff they got up on dating apps that just
Like what?
one guy we both know I was using it on a bus. The girl I matched with was on the bus. We fucked. And I was like, that did not happen. That just didn't happen. You're just straight exaggerating exactly who it was. Yeah. I'm not going to say who did it, but if and when I tell Dylan who that was, he's going to go, yeah, that was
What's the most major height mistake you've seen someone post there where they said they were a different height?
I always put my height much lower so they were surprised. 5'1"
Ooh,
or
that's
not
good.
is what I would put.
I'm 4'6". Messed
Yeah.
up 6'4".
Penis sized.
Well, you can filter people on dating apps now, I guess, and apparently this is a statistic someone told me, and I have not looked up, and I never will do that. I do a thing like the 90s where someone tells me Mountain Dew
That's
is
right.
spermicide, and then I drink enough of it that works out, even though I have 2 kids. Is that they have a filter for men under 6 feet. So if you're 5'10" or above, just fucking, you got to just be like, I am 6 feet tall.
That height thing is one of the funniest, crazy because I know a couple of people that are pretty right on, and one of them I once was pointed out. I was like, you once told me you would never touch a man under 6'2", and they're like, yeah, no, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, like you can't. That's crazy. That's so discriminatory. They have no control over that. And as a result, anyone under the height of 5'7" hates my fucking guts. Like, by the way, you want to know what it's like being 6'4"? There's a huge segment of the male population that if you are under 5'7", I can see them being like, fuck this guy. Oh my God. There is one former Canadian comedy person who later stole a bunch of dead people's royalties and nearly brought down a management
Jake LeBeau,
company.
yes.
It was Jake
Just
LeBeau.
say Jake LeBeau.
And I guarantee that 5'2" piece of garbage he was such a douche. But he was, if you notice, real prickly to anyone who was above 6 foot in a way that I pointed out to other people. And they're like, yeah, fascinating.
Check this out, you dog fucker. Do you think that I could go back on Tinder and my wife would be fine with it?
I mean, I don't know. I do remember I would see a friend of mine's girlfriend on my Tinder in England a lot. And I said a couple of times, like, why are you here? And she would always write, I'm just here to make fun of people.
Yes. It's the most dating excuse. Like, I'm on there ironically. That's like the Greatest Onion headline where it was like, man unironically masturbates to ironic porno. It's like this friend's porn parody is so funny. Can I take it home so I can laugh at it at home?
I got a soup to this. I need to soup.
Oh, I want Chandler to get with Monica in the ass.
I'm souping. A friend of mine recently claimed, by the way, that Ross is the funniest character in Friends, and that's the most insane shit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
I mean, that is the hierarchy of, like, which 90s sitcom do you like the most? And that's how you can tell your personality type.
Yeah. Mine, of course, is the single guy. Single guy
single
number
guy?
1. Number 2, Caroline in the City. Number 3, Suddenly Susan. Number 4, still the Cosby Show.
That's true.
I just watched them and I just skipped the scenes with Cliff.
Mine's Titus.
That was from the
Whatever that
2000s,
means.
you motherfucker.
Oh, shit, okay.
Say
Mine
sorry.
is-
Say sorry. Say sorry.
Mine is the...
Say sorry. Say, I'm sorry.
No, never.
Yes.
Mine is Damon Wayans' show.
I think that was also the 2000s.
Fuck. Mine is Step by Step then.
Congratulations.
Only the seasons with Cody.
Only the seasons with Cody. For those of you who don't know who Cody is, he was such a piece of shit that they actually fired him for hitting his girlfriend in the 90s, which I assume he just killed. He killed 700 women, and they're like, all right, it turns out that Cody is the Zodiac killer. We're going to have to
Your first 16 are free, Cody. Why'd you have to
Yeah.
do number 17?
Cody, why did you have to kill them in front of the courthouse while wearing a T-shirt that said, I'm on Step by Step and I like to do this? Those are the two things you need to know about me.
Joe Fatone was on Tinder. That was pretty good.
Oh, my God, when all the celebrities went on, I remember a person I know who lives in L.A. claimed to have matched with Hillary Duff when they were on...
Yes, that was a big thing about Hillary Duff added Tinder.
Yeah, why wouldn't she? And now, of course, Rhea. Do you have any friends that were on Rhea?
I have friends that complained about not getting on Rhea.
I have that
Explain
friend
what
too.
Rhea
I have,
is.
I have that friend, and that was an excellent time on social media. Yo, Rhea, what the fuck was one of the tweets?
Explain what Rhea is.
Rhea is Tinder for celebrities, and you have to be recommended for it. I applied in my divorce, and I could have gotten on because I saw so many of my friends who have a British TV profile listed, but I felt shame in asking for their recommendation.
That is so funny. Can you recommend me? I want to strike out with Christina Milian. Actually, I
Yeah.
would love to.
I would like to not get a response for someone that works in the camp of Florence Pugh. A friend of ours was on Rhea and got into a real argument with someone who was a graphic designer, and they said, you shouldn't be on here, you gamed the system. And I really respect that person for being like, let me just tell you something, there's rules and you may not respect them, but I do.
Yeah, did you try Tinder?
No, what's Tinder? I'm very excited to hear the joke you just invented. Go ahead.
That's for fucking Tinder for people that want to fucking eat each other's shit. I don't know.
Really glad to see you did not think through the punchline, but you did think
I
through the
didn't. I
setup.
said
What is this, an
Tinder,
episode
and
of
then I
Real
was like,
Time?
okay, well, we boxed ourselves in here.
I don't feel boxed in. I feel free.
We gotta think of something. And frankly, I'm tired.
Dylan, here's my question. If your wife dies tomorrow, will you use her photo in your Tinder profile?
My Tinder profile would be me at a wedding holding a fish. Try and combine all of the things that everyone makes fun of.
Taken in the bathroom in the mirror.
Suck my dick till I fucking make my shit noise. And then, but can't you have like sounds on there now? It would be the sound of me nutting. Here's what I want from you. And then here's what you're gonna get from me. The milk truck's coming out.
If I'm forced back on dating apps, let me tell you what my profile is going to read. Ropes for you, ropes from me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Tie you
yeah.
up, nut on you.
It's just going to be photos of parts of my body that are weird, like my fucked up elbows and then just one hip.
I'm gonna just or like all the pictures where it's like the pictures your parents take, where it's just this like the fucking like that'll be a good one.
Oh yeah, a nice dad doing ID check at fucking TSA.
I'm just here to make fun of people is such a good shout. I remember there was a friend who he was on there, and then it was revealed he was like cheating on his girlfriend, and we all were like, "Wow, that guy was so confident with why he was on Tinder." He's like, "Yeah, I use Tinder." I'm like, is she okay with that? He's like, yeah, she's fine with it. I'm like, all right, I guess she's fine with it. He just played it off so well that I was like, wow, this guy's good. He could kill a whole family.
I mean, that guy is very good. I was about to tell an anecdote, but I was like, that anecdote just involves all of the people, and you'll have to say their names.
Ricky and Sticky. But yeah. Tinder's good for some things, but obviously bad for others. I was only on it as a guy with no, like I kind of couldn't be that shitty to people because I wasn't getting that many matches. But I assume if someone's an asshole, they could be really shitty to someone.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're also you're underestimating the amount of people that will be shitty to someone, even if it does, like they're like, well, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Did you ever ghost anyone?
What do you mean? Like we were chatting for a bit and then we just stopped chatting?
No, in person. You met up with them. They wanted a second date. You didn't do it.
No, I don't believe so. Maybe I did. I have no recollection.
I did. I did the thing that I still will do. I remember I opened her message.
Send a photo of your fully spread asshole and say, meet me here.
See you in the dark side or whatever. No, I clicked on the message, and I clicked on another message, completely forgot about her. I did that to a couple people, but then she was really mad because she saw me at a bus stop and was like, "There's the guy," to her friend. And I was like,
that's fucking psycho.
And then I was like, okay. And she's like drunk. She was like, "He's a piece of shit." But to her friend while looking at me. And then I'd love to tell you I was like, but I said something, but instead I just looked straight forward like, I hope this bus gets here soon. And then she, after that, messaged me, "I think we should meet up again." And I was like, sure. And then did the exact same thing where I opened her message and then forgot.
Good for you. I like that
I've done that where money was involved, where I opened the message and then click on I'll get back to that, and then click on the message, and now you're
done.
I'll never see it again.
Yeah, nor would you. Nor would you
I'll
want
never
to
think about this again. I never looked through things
until you're like, oh wait, I could have had that money. Fudge.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, I definitely feel bad about that.
Yeah, no, I don't feel bad about getting off dating apps and having a nice relationship with someone.
Get back on Rhea, John, or get on Rhea. If you get on Rhea, someone's like, "You're approved," just be like, "Listen, it's been real, but ScarJo wants to rip on my loads, even though she's with someone and not on the app."
If you had to invent a dating app, what would it be called? Mine would be called Slurp, and you could only just post the sound of you drinking a drink.
I think it would be like an extension of that app where you have to take one picture a day and you have to just do it within the 10 seconds where you get that notification. You open the notification and you have to just take a picture of yourself so you can't lie.
What was the dating app? What was the dating app that was like, it only matches you with people that you interact with near you, and it was basically just a really easy way to track people?
I don't know. I mean, there's no good dating app. No matter what you invent, perverts will use it. And then also, this is towards the end of my time on Tinder, but sex scammers will use it to get people who are on the spectrums or just old as shit's financial information.
That's very true. I remember certain countries you go to in the UAE, they tell you at the hotel, don't use Tinder. Those are prostitutes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't get a prostitute.
Yeah, you're like,
you
oh,
old
sure.
dog, you.
All right. I will listen to your advice. Now I have a question that has nothing to do with that first thing you told me. What is the Wi-Fi password?
How about this? What's the punishment for having sex with a prostitute on Tinder, hypothetically speaking? I didn't ask that. Wink, wink. Stink, stink.
I don't use prostitutes, but if I was going to, could you be one?
Yeah, try and fuck the cop. Oh, what? Are you saying you're in love with me? Because otherwise, I'm getting some prostitutes, motherfucker.
Yeah, I feel like you're in love with me, officer. That's what I feel. That's what I mean, that's my new move now, by the way. If ever I'm in any interaction with a cop, is I just claim the officer's in love with me. Sir, do you know how fast you were going? Not fast enough for you, stud. Are you in love with me?
You trying to suck my dick at this car?
Buddy, this ain't the bang bus, it's a truck. We can get in the back, though, if you want.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that bang?
I'm not going to do anything.
This is a suck truck, buddy. Get in the truck.
Yeah, you can do stuff to me. I'm not going to do stuff to you, though. That'd be weird.
Suck me in the truck. Fuck me in the truck. Fuck
truck. Do you love me? That's my new... By the way, you want to fucking reform the police? Enough with the chants and the protests. Just anytime you're ever interacting with a cop, just start flirting with them. We'll clean this up so quick. So it's a double homicide. I'll tell you what else is just doubled in here. My fucking... cock hardness.
That would be good. I think you should try that on a LAPD officer.
I already have tried it many times.
Oh, really? What happened?
I was beaten very severely by a group of them.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I think our next one's on Vine, maybe.
Our next one will be on Vine. We can talk about all of the different comedians that I know that almost were really big if Vine had lasted longer.
Yeah, man. Vine lasted long enough just so that the Paul brothers will be dual president one day, but not long enough that some of our funny friends could be millionaires.
There's 4 people that came out of Vine. It's the Paul brothers, it's Brittany Furlong, and here's the last one. It's Joey Diaz. Everyone puts Joey Diaz's fame with Joe Rogan. It was Periscope because he did a thing that no one was doing, which was he would smoke his morning joint on Periscope And Vine, and Vine. Oh no, it's Periscope is what made Joey Diaz,
Periscope.
not Vine. Fuck off, John. You fucking idiot. You fucking loser. Fuck you.
Yeah, and a lot of niche internet celebrities that we are learning about through being perverts. Good night, everybody.